Hello, Brian's family. I hope you are doing fine this time. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you back to our channel where learning is made easy. So, today we are going to make our learning easy more so in practical part. That is touching on grade 5, the CAS part, that's creative art and sport, more so in the part of art. So, join us. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe, you comment, and you share this video so that we can grow together. So in our today's session, I want us to touch on making a wind instrument. Making a wind instrument. Remember, the learners have been instructed to make an indigenous instrument of their choice. So for us here, we are going to touch on making a wind instrument, since it's an area that we have taught them in class. So most of my learner will be focusing on making a wind instrument because that's what we have covered in class. So some important points to note when making a wind instrument or before embarking on the making of a wind instrument is that wind instruments are played by blowing. So these are instruments which are played by blowing. That's something that learner must be aware of. Then sound is produced when the blown air vibrates into the hollow part of the instrument. So we are getting that one of the part of a wind instrument is that part called hollow, whereby the air vibrates into it so that the sound can be produced. Then, each indigenous wind instrument has a unique sound depending on its material and size. So, the material and size of the wind instrument we are going to make, it's going to affect the sound that instrument will be producing. So, you'll find different learners having different wind instruments producing different sounds. So that one will be resulting from this material and the size of their wind instrument. So also you find that we can make wind instruments using locally available materials, and the step used depends on the specific instrument to be made. However, these steps are used when making most wind instruments. So the steps which I'm highlighting down here, they are one of the steps which are used in making most of wind instruments. And the first step, we find that is selecting an instrument to be made. So first you need to come up with the instrument you are going to make. We have taught the learners different type of wind instruments. So it's up to them to choose which instrument are they going to make. Is it a mulele? Is it a chivuti? So let them come up with the instrument that it fits their material. Then part 2, identifying the materials and tools required. So after selecting an instrument, now it will be easy for them to identify the material and tools required. Then after that, they are going to collect the material from the local environment while observing precaution and safety. Then the last step will be making the instrument. Now when they have all the material and tools they need and the instrument that they are going to make. So those are the 4 key points that are followed when making most of wind instruments. So here is an example of how to make a mulele of the Luya community. Now, let's go to the materials and tools we need in making a mulele of the Luya community. The first material we need is a bamboo stem, that is, or a PVC pipe or a hollow reed. Then we also need a knife, a ruler, we need a sharpened piece of thick wire, then we need a sandpaper or a pumice stone. So those are some of the materials that we need when making a mulele of the Luya community. Then after collecting the material and tools, then the step that follows is how now the procedure, the steps to follow. And each step that I have highlighted here, I'm going to display what is supposed to do or what the learner will be doing, so that when I explain the point, you can uh, you can see it when on the screen as learners also participate in it. So the first point is that using a ruler, learner are going to measure and mark, because remember one of the point that we noted is that the the indigenous wind instruments has a unique sound, and that sound will be depending on its material and size. And that's why the first point we are saying, using a ruler, measure and mark, then cut off 12-inch to 14-inch piece of bamboo or pipe. So we have specific measurement that we have given out. Then after that, the learner are going to clean out the hollow section of the bamboo piece. Huko ndani kabisa, they are going to clean it to be clean from any dirt or any obstacle that will prevent the sound from coming out. As you can see, the learner are cleaning on my video there. Then part 3, they are going to cut a V-shaped notch at one end of the piece, a V-shaped notch at one end of the piece, as you can see on my video. Then they are going to use a hot, sharp piece of thick wire to bore pitch holes. So those are holes that for example, you take the design of a descant recorder. So it will depend how many holes the learner are going to make uh, on that on that wind instrument. Then after that, they are going to smoothen the edges using sandpaper or a rough piece of stone. So let the instrument be smoothened using a sandpaper. Then they are going to test the quality of sound by blowing the instrument. And remember, the quality of sound, we said it will depend on the size and the material that the learner have used in making the instrument. So those are some of the important steps the learner can follow in making any wind instrument of their choice. The first thing is selecting an instrument to be made. Then, after selecting the instrument to be made, material and tools, are they available? That is another thing. So, if you find a learner selected an instrument, you have to help that learner to know if the material that are used in making that instrument are available. If not, then you have to convince the learner to come up with another instrument that the material can be found locally available. Because remember, CBE is all about improvising. So we are just needed to go to the shop when things are tight. But first, we have to look for the material within the locality so that we can use them to improvise these items and these instruments. So that will be the end of our session for today. Let's meet in our another session as we tackle this creative art and sports and also Kiswahili part of the CBE curriculum. May God bless you. Remember to subscribe, share, comment, and like. Brian's Academy, where learning is made easy.